All right, so since my sophomore year, I've been a part of Unplugging Society, and it's a women's group on campus that focuses on empowering women in their journey with social justice throughout their college career. So I started off as the women's tea chair, and I had our first annual women's tea, and it was phenomenal. And I've been part of Unplugging ever since. And this is my second year as president, and it's been probably the best experience for me in my college career.
I typically, when you join USG, you join your freshman year, but I actually applied my senior year of high school, and so I went to the summer retreat between my senior year of high school and my freshman year, and so, people like to say that I had sort of a jump start on USG than anyone else, and that, that year I was sort of like, the baby, if you will, that, all the upperclassmen knew me and I knew all of them, and, I was the freshman of all of them.
I studied abroad twice. I started student organization. I spent the semester in Washington, D.C. Really anything I thought about that I really want to experience or I thought should happen on campus, all I needed was find one or two staff members or faculty, and they helped me fulfill that.
I did Book-a-thon for the first time this year. And it was just a really humbling experience. Got a chance to meet some of the kids from nationwide and actually being on my feet for 12 hours. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, and I actually had a good time meeting a lot of new students as well. There's a lot that I've done, but I think that's what the first thing that comes to mind is probably my favorite memory.
I think one of them would definitely be Light Up the Lake. It's just something that my friends and I have gone to every single year since we were freshmen, and this year we almost didn't make it because everybody had plans that night, and we made ourselves go because we've gone together as a group for 4 years, and it's a great tradition and it's beautiful.
I think my favorite memory of Ohio State is during the USG retreat last summer. After dark, we walk around the lake, and under a pavilion, we all gather around and we sang Carmen, Ohio. And that was my first time. It was so touching, and I started to feel a stronger connection with the group.
I always love singing Carmen, Ohio, and I think that's a really special thing for me just because I'm not from Ohio and really didn't grow up a Buckeye, so it's something that I've really kind of latched onto throughout my college experience. And then one thing I'm doing right now that's also kind of a personal favorite is training a 2-year-old horse right now with the Animal Sciences Department, and that's been a really neat experience to tie into my major.
The most meaningful was probably my time spent in Blocko, both as the Nutt House director and the president. As the Nutt House director, I probably had the most fun I've ever had in a leadership position, kind of building that from the ground up. And then the Blocko president was probably the most challenging position that I've ever been in.
We have got a lot of great support from like university administrators, from friends, and from other community leaders, and that's the best memory, because at the very beginning I can never imagine that I can develop a program in a university, but it is coming out, like it's now accepting applications.
My experience with the Access 88 program has definitely become something that I feel has been my legacy here at Ohio State, which I've been able to create an opportunity for Ohio State students to share their experiences and learn about the issue of college access and what types of opportunities they have and privileges they have, and share them with our community and students in Ohio who might not have the ability to access college as we have.
Besides all the little things that I think make Ohio State what it is, I would have to say this past year's Buckeye-thon, standing there and seeing thousands of students and faculty and staff joining together, and then seeing it twice was pretty cool.
My favorite OSU memory would probably have to be the senior capstone class that I'm in currently. Basically, we've been taking a lot of time to reflect on our experiences at Ohio State, and it's with a great group of people, like 2 great instructors, and it's really been the best experience, and I'm so glad I had the opportunity to take it at the very end of my senior year.
And I found that even though I can't specialize in everything, it's really nice to just be able to get a glimpse of a certain area, whether it's geology, politics. We had a lot going on with the election last year. That was a very interesting experience, being thrown into the election process. I think that was very cool. So I've learned a lot about how the world works and how people work and how to interact with people, and I think it's greatly prepared me for moving on to the next phase of my life.
Singing Carmen, Ohio after football games, after a victory with 105,000 of your closest friends, just the atmosphere in the stadium every time is a great memory.
But my favorite is probably the night of the homecoming game. Being on the field for that game right before it happened, I remember turning to the person standing next to me and she was like, "These are the best seats in the house," and it was just an incredible moment. And to know that same night there was a record-breaking crowd in Ohio Stadium and just everything that happened that night is something I'll never forget. Having all my family there and my friends was incredible.
So what I've learned at Ohio State is that you have to be curious and take some chances because you never know what's behind each door. I think I definitely did that, and it's led me to some fantastic opportunities, and more so than the opportunities, just the people that I've met. You know, you never close off an opportunity or a door just because you don't think, oh well, maybe that's not exactly what I want to do, but there may be some fantastic people there that'll remain a part of your life for many years.
This most recent year, there were 10 undergraduate students, engineering students, which is the most we've ever had, and we put up solar panels on a school in rural Haiti and made sure that they had electricity. And I remember before we left, they connected one of the TVs that they had to the outlet, and there were about 40 people crowded around watching soccer. And even though I don't speak Creole, it was an experience to just sit there and watch TV with a bunch of people. That something that myself and Ohio State allowed to happen.
Well, I guess I've learned that everyone has a story, and that's my favorite part about interacting with people, is like learning that story, getting past the superficial, hey, how are you, how was your day, or what have you done, or whatever, learning like what makes people tick, or how people have grown, or whatever it may be, getting into that deeper level. I've learned that everyone has that aspect to them, and it's important to figure out, because it's really what motivates us to do whatever we're passionate about.
I learned a lot through the classes, learning from my professors, learning just about education in general, as well as outside the classroom has been the biggest component. Growing as a leader and trying to learn who I am as an individual, and so that way I can better serve others. And going into the field of higher education, I feel like I've learned a lot here to set that foundation. I can't wait for the future, and it's all thanks to Ohio State.
I can barely put it into words, but I think these years at Ohio State have truly made me who I am. The people here that I've met, the friendships, the education, I feel like I've just blossomed as a person. And the mentors that I've been able to have here, without even knowing that they were mentoring me, I don't think I'll ever be able to truly give back in the way that I'd like to Ohio State, because it's truly been the best.
I'm glad all the involvement teach me how to become a better leader, and it actually helped me for my future career.
Ohio State has become a part of me and who I am. It's something that will never leave my being, and it's definitely changed me over the years. New perspectives, new different cultures, experiences that have all made me the person I am today.
But for Ohio State, I would not have found my passion and been on this journey to find it.
But for Ohio State, I would never know the opportunities that exist, and I wouldn't have the passion to change the world I think that I do now.
But for Ohio State, I wouldn't have grown into the mature student and man that I am today.
But for Ohio State, I have found the people and the place that have kind of acted as my platform to push me off into the real world, very confident, eager to be successful, and ready to give back to everywhere that I go.
Honestly, but for Ohio State, I wouldn't have been able to recognize my potential.
But for Ohio State, I would never consider myself as a leader for the Hispanic population.
But for Ohio State, I would not have realized the impact that I could make on people in my community.
But for Ohio State and the wonderful mentors I've been surrounded by my entire time here, I would have never realized my passion for developing others and helping them to find their strengths and reach their full potential.